Okay.
Got high blood pressure because the bird flew away in the middle of a demonstration. Now my peregrine's going to let me down as well. Yeah, she does put in a reasonable effort, so I hope you'll excuse her in her reluctance to get going. But if you bear with me for a minute, I'll do my best to coax her off of this perch and get her into the air. Once she's airborne, she will put in a reasonable effort. Peregrine falcons, remember, are the fastest birds that have ever lived. They're capable in the wild of flying at speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour. Morag doesn't achieve speeds like that, but she does put in a good turn when she needs to. Her objective is to catch this lure that I'm swinging around. The lure is just a padded piece of leather. It's got a tacky old wing tied to one side, just to attract her attention. There is a piece of food attached to each side of the lure, and it's that piece of food that she's interested in. Now, her job is to catch the lure. My job is to keep it just out of her reach. And when I say just out of her reach, it's got to be only just. If it's tweaked away from in front of her too quickly, if she misses it by too big a margin, she'll consider that it's impossible to catch, at which point she may turn her back on me and fly away. At the very least, she'll go and sit in a tree and refuse to come down. So the idea is to coax her off of her perch and get her to put in an effort at the lure and keep the lure just in front of her face while she's flying at it. The harder I can get her to work, the better it is for her in the long run, because remember, she is flying free. There's nothing stopping her from flying away. As any of you were here at 1 o'clock will remember, Mo disappeared off across the countryside there. We couldn't make her come back, we could only ask her to. Morag is exactly the same. I ask her to work to the lure, and I can only ask her to turn round and come back, even if she's half a mile away or more. Say, do you want this? Would you like this? Would you like to get off the perch? You want this? You want this? You do? Are you sure? There's food on there. You do? Good. Good. I'm glad you want it. If you want it, come and get it. She says, no, I want it if you give it to me, but I don't want to work for it. Well, don't we all? What's that? What's that? I'll give you sit on the cars. I'll give you sit on the cars. Well, why not? They're a convenient perch. I don't know whether it's the car that attracts you or the pigeons. Either way, get a move on. Now, come on. There. Get it. I'm not a taxi service, and there's no number 9 bus coming past, so get a move on. Well, she's bobbing her head at me, so she's obviously interested. Well, if you're interested enough for that, you're interested enough to work for it, aren't you? I don't believe you. Come on. Come on. Alright. You could hear that from where you were standing, but I certainly felt it. Morag managed to get 1 foot to that lure then as she came past, showing you just how capable she is on the wing. She managed to strike the lure with 1 foot, hit it hard enough to make it snatch at my hand. Remember, in the wild, peregrine falcons hunt birds. They have to fly fast and hard. When they strike their prey, it's normally knocked out of the air, very often dead on impact. Come on, this way. Chasing pigeons is not on for the day. That wasn't...
Come on!
Flying a falcon, I want the bird to be in the air. What I'm going to do now is coax Morag off of her perch just one more time, but she won't get the lure immediately. She'll make one pass. She'll go out here. As she goes past me, I'll prepare to give her the lure. I'll prepare to offer her her meal. So when I call her off the perch this time, it'll be the last time, hopefully, that she lands on a perch. She'll get a special signal that will tell her the exercise period has finished. To finish flying her, once again I should turn off my radio microphone so I don't blow your eardrums out.
I'll get her in the air as quickly as I can. Come on! Come on! Morag! Come on! Out of the tree now!
When she gets her shout, she knows that the exercise period is finished. The lure's free, all she has to do is turn, put in a reasonable effort, and strike her prey. She takes the lure on the ground, eats her piece of food, and if I'm not quick enough, she'll start eating that tatty old wing that I've got tied to it as well. Her job is over now, she's caught the lure. Much. So I offer her another piece of food on my glove. I creep into her slowly. I offer her another piece of food. She takes the food on the glove in preference to the lure. The lure now is a waste product. It's no longer needed. She's got a lovely piece of food on the glove. Oh, thank you, Morag. I'll now go back to her perch, and there she'll finish her piece of food. She'll actually get some more as well. And now it's time to fly another one. Here there, Diane. He's earning his living. This is the way he earns his daily meal. Flies back to the glove and he takes the little pieces of food that are being offered there. He doesn't do it for fun or enjoyment. He doesn't like flying. He flies because it's necessary. In the wild here, we don't always have gallows there. It's only there temporarily. Barn owls, incidentally, are becoming increasingly rare in the wild. The reason for it is that their natural habitat is being destroyed. To sustain the barn owls naturally in the wild. The barn owl quite happily nested around farms, in the old barns, because the barn...
Philippine Eagle Centre, and later on his owner brought him over to this country. On arriving here, however, he discovered he'd made a terrible mistake. He didn't really have the time or the facilities to exercise the bird properly. He bought Fuzzball here. He's been here ever since. He flies free, nothing makes him stay, nothing forces him to. I'm not going to launch him into the air here. I'm going to walk up the field a short way with him before I launch him up. Give him a little more opportunity to gain a bit of height. The name Fuzzball often causes a smile to cross people's faces. The name Fuzzball comes from the fact since then, as you can see, he's grown a lovely set of feathers. This is his adult plumage now. If any of you were here a few years ago when we first started flying him, you may remember he was a different colour then. He was brown, that area. So when he's taken his perch, I go about calling him back again. And the only way of calling him back, of course, is to offer him something to eat. I can't make him come back. I can't say, "Oi, down here now." I can't demand anything of him. I can only ask. If he decides to say no and sit up there, all I can do is stand here, smile sweetly, wait for him to change his mind. Each time he returns to the glove, he's rewarded with a small piece of food. It is only for that piece of food that he bothers to return. He doesn't like or love his handler. Fuzzball has chosen to stay here because he knows that life is made easy for him. It's easier than life in the wild. Yes, he's got a good view of the lake down there. The lake is well stocked with fish. Yes, he could go fishing, but why should he? If somebody came up to you one day and said, "Look, don't bother going to work anymore, but I'll still pay your wages," you'd be a fool to turn it down. Because, ladies and gentlemen, any living creature in the whole wide world looks for the easiest way of surviving, the easiest way of living out their life. And the white-bellied sea eagle is no exception. Fuzzball flies back to me because I'm easy to catch, a lot easier to catch than anything else he might find in the surrounding countryside.
Is te vaak had gesteld
When Fuzzball lands among people, he's not delicate or dainty about where he lands. He'll land on you, he'll barge you out of the way with his shoulders. But under no circumstances at all has he ever... God dear! I'd stand in mid-air then. The idea of that was to show you that Fuzzball's capable of a lot more than just flying backwards and forwards to a perch. When I offer him his food, it is only the food he's interested in. On a good day, when I throw a piece of food like that into the air, he doesn't normally miss it. I think I asked a little bit much of him there. I'll give him a chance to redeem himself before I finish flying him. How's that? Give him another chance. Have you finished picking your feet, please? When Fuzzball's got his piece of food on the floor, you'll notice that when he's finished eating, he's very meticulous about tidying up. Look, he's picking tiny bits of food off the grass. So dainty, so delicate. Yet most people imagine birds of prey to be cut and thrust, you know, grab it, rip it, tear it, make a mess everywhere. Nothing like that at all. They kill as gently as they can. They don't make a mess. They eat very delicately. They don't want to spill their food. These, ladies and gentlemen, are dead-day-old chickens. They're not killed to feed to our birds, but we do use them as a food supply. These are killed because people don't want them. They're killed and thrown in the dustbin because they're unwanted. He won't turn his nose up at food. When he's offered something to eat, he doesn't waste. In the wild, when he kills something, he's careful not to spill any, not to leave any behind, because to do so is wasting food and consequently wasting energy. Because if he wastes half his meal, he's got to go hunting that much sooner. So he's very careful not to waste any of his meal at all. Come on. You'll notice that I never launch Fuzzball directly towards his perch. Remember, my objective is to exercise the birds, get as much out of them as possible. Now, I know that Fuzzball's favourite perch is that tree. So why should I make life easy for him? Why should I launch him in that direction? I don't. I launch him away from his favourite perch. Make him work as hard as possible if he wants to go back up there for a seat. Now that little missile throw, last year it struck our ferruginous hawk from behind Just as she was about to land on that low branch over there, it struck her so hard from behind the head, it actually knocked her out of the tree. She ended up on the floor. That's aggression. That bird up there has none more. Because I'm not going to need it after I've eaten this lump. Get on with it. The Raptor Centre, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps you don't recognise the name, Raptor. Get lost, go on. He said, Dad, you've got no chance of getting me lost all the time you've got food in that bag. We also run a breed and release scheme. Breeding sometimes, I can't stop them from doing anything. At the same time, I can't make them fly in front of you. If you've enjoyed watching them fly, please thank the birds themselves for flying in front of you. Never thank a handler for flying a bird in front of you. A handler can't. All the handler can do is let the bird go. What happens after that is entirely up to the bird. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much indeed for coming along this afternoon. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.